Who said you can't go home? Real Estate Exposed, brought to you by Signature Real Estate. Real Estate Exposed is all about helping homeowners and those who would like to be homeowners and those who would like to get into real estate.
Just like some of my inventory.
Well, don't mind us, right? Because we're just going to start over here in a hot second. Don't worry about it. You guys keep talking over there, and I'll do the intro. No bigs.
We didn't get the countdown.
No, he did. Betamax totally did it.
Oh, Beta, I'm so sorry. I'm a rookie.
Yeah, it's all
Sorry,
right.
Beta.
So as you all can see, we've actually got Valerie Grijalva back. Still don't remember what the hell your title is, to be honest with you.
Nobody
but
does.
you are listening to Real Estate Exposed. We are coming to you live from Las Vegas. And if you are watching us right now live, you already know how to find us, but it is on facebook.com/realestatex. And we are also on, a bunch of podcast things, including iTunes and Apple something or the other. And I don't know, maybe Betamax can help me with this.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
What other podcast things are we on, Beta?
We can-
On everything. We're on everything. All right, perfect. So as you can see, my normal co-hosts have been fired. Just kidding. They're actually not here today. They're in Destin, Florida. They're gonna, they're enjoying the sun out there, doing their thing with the Circle of Champions with Satamanali. And they're going to come back and expose the rest of us, which is great because bars are open over in Florida.
Are they really?
I told everything is open. They opened up the entire state of Florida. And so I told both of them, like, you're both going to quarantine, right? When you come back. And they looked at me, they're like, nope, you are going to quarantine. I'm like, I didn't even go anywhere. I don't have to quarantine. Yeah. I'm like, don't come back and expose me. See what I did there?
Yeah.
So anyway, so they're gone. Yes, Real Estate Exposed. So they're gone, but I'm here, which is the most important part. And
She's very humble.
very humble. That's how I was
Yeah,
born.
she's
It's
very
weird.
humble.
We've got Valerie. I already told you that, but who's this handsome guy sitting in the middle? It's our new Brandon. Are you going to be here permanently?
Yeah, I'm happy to stay.
Oh boy. Okay, Brandon, you are officially fired. Just kidding.
And you've been replaced.
You've been replaced. This is Casey, guys. This is Casey Ryan. He is a real estate investor, but more importantly, I don't know if you guys remember 2 weeks ago, we had Valerie on and we were talking about the auctions and buying property at the auction. And she was like, I know a guy who's going to be amazing. And so guess what? She brought him. So Casey Ryan, just to give you a little bit of background, he provided this to me. So if it sounds a little excessive, it's because he gave it to me. 5 years.
Yeah, I can vouch for it. So yeah, it's definitely validated.
Yeah, I told him already, don't get offended by anything I say because I say a lot of stupid shit. 5 years at UNLV. You're a rebel.
He's a rebel.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. All right, to
I'm born
get
and raised in Vegas, too.
nice.
Yep, I'm a native.
Nice.
We don't see very many of those. Can I pinch him?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like a leprechaun.
yeah, pretty much. All right, so let me get back to this thing about him. 5 years at UNLV to get bachelor's in mechanical engineering and finance.
Yep,
How
that's right.
holy?
Means he's very smart.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's like super genius mode.
Yeah. Yeah. For real estate.
For real estate,
Yeah,
you're right? And then
In real
yeah.
estate, that's like a PhD, right?
Holy crap. All right, full-time in real estate in 2015 after he actually graduated. He's flipped and wholesaled about 500 plus homes, produced a minimum of 1 million plus a year in the past 5 years. Zero direct to homeowner marketing for acquisition strategy until early 2018, which we're going to talk about because I really want to understand what that means. All right, and then you put in here profited 2 million plus in 2019. Is that plus mean like 6 million?
No.
No, so it's not like times. It's just over 2 million. Okay,
That's our math.
38. Right.
So you know what you're dealing with right
Yeah,
here, Casey.
right.
That's how we round up.
And then 38 million sales volume and 144 deals closed. Is that this year or?
That was last year.
It was Jesus, Mises. By yourself, like all by your lonesome?
No, we have a team. There's basically 1, 2, 3, 4, basically 5 of us.
Okay.
Yep. So I have an.
So is there 5 or basically 5? You got some basic
Well,
5 people
I have a guy that
or?
would come in part time, like 15 to 30 hours a week. So that's
Got
that's
it.
the basically part.
Got it. Okay. He's your basic employee.
Yeah. and
Got
he
it.
Was, yeah. He was. And then I have an acquisitions guy named Ryan. I had a dispositions guy named Corey who would also do some other acquisitions for me as well. And then I have Kelly, who's my assistant, and then myself was very involved in the team, and then Chance, which
Okay.
was he was with us before, but
Yeah, he's the Golden Knights.
He's his mascot.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's the
I
mascot.
wish.
So he
That
got
would
a
be
he got a
cool
new
if he came
job.
every day wearing that.
Or formerly known as Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper. Could be, right? All
Your
right.
boys aren't there yet.
Right.
When your boys will get there, you'll
I'll know.
understand. Yeah,
Okay.
right?
I know
the
you
Chance
You know
Rapper.
what Chance is, yeah.
way before my time.
Yeah.
No.
No.
Just I'm messing with
You
both
need to
of you.
move forward. We need to get out of the 90s.
Beta, do you know who this Chance the Rapper is? Oh,
Beta-
even
Beta
Beta
even
knows.
knows,
Okay.
yeah.
So it's not like the MySpace discussion where he looked at us like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's MySpace for V, right? Yeah.
All right, whatever, you guys. All right, so before we get started and really dive deep with Casey, I want to go into stats, which apparently you love.
I love stats. Yeah.
Smart.
Data nerd.
Yeah. So,
Data
so let me, and it'll be fun. But we had a couple of sold properties, 1,145.
You said a couple.
A couple, just a couple, right?
I like how we round around.
1145. Yeah, same. 1145 properties that sold. The highest price. I already told Casey the answer, so you get to guess at it.
2.4.
Yes.
Wow.
That's the best anybody's ever done on the show.
Does he get a prize?
He gets a prize.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
You get to say you're the smartest one in the room.
Well, we already know that.
It was
so.
originally listed for 2.999,999, kind of like 7-Eleven. Can I ask why people do that, by the way? Does anybody know why people do that?
Do
They
it.
say it's the psychology of the buyer, but I think it's maybe outdated now. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a real hard time. Like
If
when my clients
something's-
are like, let's do it for $349,999. And I'm like, this isn't 7-Eleven. We're not
Yeah.
selling hot dogs and, what else do they sell there? I should know.
Corn dogs.
They don't sell
Pizza.
corn dogs.
Yeah, they do.
Pizza.
Yeah.
They don't sell corn dogs.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do.
Girl, what you
Yeah.
talking? I owned a
So
7-Eleven.
she owned
Oh.
a 7-Eleven. Yeah. So on 7-Eleven days, we'd go get free Slurpees. all the
Oh, yeah,
time.
tell this story, by the
No,
way.
no, I'm not going to tell that story. It's so irrelevant, But it has to do with the DJ, so it's kind of like Chance the Rapper. So we'll tell that story later.
No, I'm going
Yeah.
to tell the story. So,
Oh, God.
yeah, so I owned a 7-Eleven, and I wasn't there all the time. But when I had friends who wanted to go, so I owned the one on Las Vegas Boulevard. But when I had friends who wanted to go and get free Slurpees, I would say, just tell the employees that you know the DJ. And so the employees there knew that if somebody walked in and said, I know the DJ,
That's the secret code.
that was
Yeah,
the
that was the
code
code
to
word,
like
yeah.
get free Slurpees.
Yeah.
So this hooker.
Oh, yeah.
Can I try that at other 7-Elevens?
So,
That
well,
was, that was in the past. Yeah, that was in the past. So,
so
yeah.
she goes to the one like in the northwest.
Well, of course, where I live.
Because she's like, it's right by where I live.
Yeah.
I don't know what I don't know if she thought I owned all of them.
Yeah. I thought
So-
if you own one, you own all.
Right,
Right?
yeah,
It's
yeah.
kind of like, yeah.
Right. So she
Good
ended up
assumption.
going
Yeah,
to
that
this
makes
one.
sense. Yeah, I guess so.
She went to this one in the northwest, and she goes and gets her Slurpees, her and her kids.
Well, not
and they
only
come
that,
to
but I
the
brought
front.
my boys, and they brought friends. So it was like a group of us. So we
Right.
thought we were so cool. So they go up and they're like, "We know the DJ," and the lady's like, "Okay." And then we said it again. We know the DJ, and then she's
like,
yeah,
yeah, you don't get hooked up here for that.
$12.75.
yeah. It was a lot more than that because we got the big ones and everything
course you
too.
did.
Yeah. So yeah, it was embarrassing. It was quite embarrassing.
You
So I
still
had to
got
call.
it for free, though.
Did
if
you?
I don't even. I
remember,
think because you
they
had to
laughed
call.
so
Yeah,
hard.
we laughed so hard that I'm like, so we had to tell the story, and then they had to look her up, and then you said her name, and then they were like, oh yeah, she's the one way down Las Vegas Boulevard. I'm like, you didn't tell me there was location restrictions on this.
You almost
So-
got stuck with like $70 in
Yeah,
Slurpees.
yeah. I'm telling my boys, grab whatever. Your friends, grab whatever.
Yeah, grab
Yeah.
the chips. Yeah, whatever you guys want here. It's on the
Because
house.
we know the DJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I'm gonna start saying
So,
that. I'm gonna
yeah,
use that
we
anywhere
know
I
the
go.
DJ.
I know
so,
the DJ.
Yeah,
so
that
that's
was
the
our
I know
little-
the DJ story.
that was
But
our-
anyways, okay. So free Slurpee for you for guessing the highest price listing.
Great, at any 7-Eleven I want, right?
Yeah,
Any
any
7-Eleven,
7-Eleven.
yeah.
You
Yeah,
try that.
Try that.
All
See
right.
what happens.
And then you've got, so of that, you're looking at 760 on market to sell that property, 2.475 essentially. But
Where
no
was this
matter,
at? What
God,
zip code?
of course somebody is going to ask me that. Hold on, I'll find out.
I think
for you.
every time you do this, somebody asks where that
I
is.
know,
and you guys,
89141. Everybody asks me
Okay.
all the
Okay,
time.
Southern
So
Highlands.
Southern Highlands. Damn, you knew
Sorry.
that like off the bat.
I have to.
That's crazy.
Smart.
Okay, so what's the zip code for?
I don't know areas.
Oh
I'm
well,
just gonna cut you
that's
off right
stupid
there.
then.
I
I was totally about to test you. All right, so 89141, that was in Southern Highlands, 2.5. But what I noticed is that last week we had like a $10 million listing, and that took 700 and something days as well, right? So all of these high-priced homes are taking that long.
Yep.
Days on market.
And it doesn't, days on market. But so it doesn't matter as long as it's over 1 million. I mean, you
No,
just
I
sold
think-
one in the last week for
Yep.
1.2.
Yep, I saw
Right?
that.
What was the
zip
days
code
on
was
market
that?
for that one?
89135.
Where's that?
It's
Summerlin.
Red Rock Country
Summerlin.
Club.
Yeah.
Yep, Summerlin. I basically, I think all in all, it's probably
I
around
knew
90
that.
days total. that
Sorry,
it took
90
to
days.
sell. Yeah,
What?
90 days.
Because it's 1 point something though. I think the sweet spot on that, right, is anything over 2 to 3. Like then you start getting into the
Yeah,
higher
and
days
you know
on
what?
market,
I
right?
really think it it would have gone way quicker, but right when I went on the market, quarantine was hitting, and everybody wanted a 4th bedroom because they're going to be working from home, and they're like sitting in their houses. If they are moving, they realize like I need more space than this, especially if I'm not going to be in the office. So
Yeah.
it was a 3 bedroom with no potential to be a 4th. So that's why I think it took a little bit longer, but.
Got it. Otherwise, it would have happened pretty
Yeah.
dang quick. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a lot of people during this quarantine that are either needing an extra room or wanting to get rid of their entire house.
or,
Yeah.
They hate each
or a divorce.
other. Right.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah.
either let's have a baby or let's not
I think
at all.
there's going to be so many COVID babies.
I think so,
Speaking
too.
of which,
Quarantine babies,
yeah.
yep.
What
I've
is
got
it
one
called?
on
I
the
should
way.
say COVID. That sounds bad.
Yeah,
But yeah,
quarantine
quarantine
babies,
babies.
yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody-
What is,
there's
so
so
you've
many
got
people.
millennials, you've got, right, so it'll be coronials,
Coronials.
coronavirus, coronials,
Coronials.
Coronials. I like coronials better.
coronials,
Yeah, yeah.
right?
I like that
That's
one
what we're
better.
going to call them.
Twister.
They're
Yeah.
gonna be the
Say
coronials.
that
There
5
you
times
go.
fast.
Yeah, that's true.
Can we make that a thing? Do you think we can make that a thing?
I think we should
Yeah.
start the hashtag on that.
Hashtag
Coronials.
coronials. Yeah.
Let's get the hashtag going on that, Beta.
Say again?
You might have put it in the comments. Maybe.
Yeah.
Putting in the comments. Awesome. We're going to make it a thing. Coronials. All right. So I got to go back because now you guys had me in the listing. So I got to figure out where I got to be in order to, okay, give you stats again. So back to stats because we're still doing this. It's, 20 minutes into the show.
We're still on, we're not even on
Still
question
upset.
number 1, but we haven't even talked about auctions yet.
I know. Well, we have 921 new listings that have shown up in the last 7 days, which is probably not, it's less than the 7 days prior to the listings that showed up 7 days prior to. And it looks like you've got like a tracking sheet over there.
Yeah, I mean, I have a tracking sheet for the inventory, but I was just looking at my inventory as well, just out of curiosity.
Because that's what you do.
Yes, that is what I do.
He's smart.
He's
I heard
smart.
He's smart. I
That's
heard
all I'm
somebody
going to
told
say
you he was
throughout this whole session is just going to be, he's smart.
Yeah.
He's smart. That's my addition to this program today.
Fantastic. Thanks for joining
You're very
us today,
welcome.
Valerie.
You're
so
pretty.
We have things.
And he's smart.
Val, the hype man. Hype woman.
Hype woman, yeah.
So we have 6,915 homes that are currently active on the market today, right? And they're all over the place. Now, one of the things I gave you like a legitimate clue of like what to say next. We talked
Okay.
about this.
Okay. Oh, that's right. I already forgot.
All right, you
I
said
don't track all of the inventory. I just look at single family,
Yeah.
as in like I take out townhouses and condos when I'm tracking because that's where I play mostly is in single family.
okay. So how many single families? See, we talked about this and we totally played it.
I
That's
di- I
only
didn't
like
look-
scripted part.
I didn't look today, but yesterday there was.
109.
Oh, I don't even look at the market watch. I just go. I have my criteria set when I open up the MLS, and it's so it excludes like certain areas, whatever. But I see 49, 43.
Got it. Okay, so you've excluded about 200 properties that are
Yeah.
probably
So
not in the
what
best
areas
movement.
are you excluding? Just
I
out of
think
curiosity.
Boulder
I'm just-
City's
I don't know if we
out.
can talk about that.
Okay, yeah.
Boulder City's not included in that. I
Okay.
don't know if that's included in what you're talking about either.
It
Boulder
is.
City.
It
Okay,
is.
that
Yeah,
could
it'll
probably be a
include
good chunk of it.
everything.
'Cause
Got
of-
it.
yeah,
Or even
okay.
Pahrump, I'm
I have Boulder
assuming.
City and Pahrump out.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so that makes sense.
Poor Pahrump. They get no love.
They're over the hump.
They're over the hump.
Dude, they're building
It's
like
hot.
I
crazy
know.
right
That's
now.
why I'm like, I'm surprised you don't have that in there, Casey.
hot.
I don't.
here.
I do
Yeah.
have a property in Pahrump though, and I thought it was going to take a long time to sell, and it was like
Yeah.
a wildfire once I listed. It was
Yeah.
like, it just got a bunch of.
And a lot of mobile homes out there too, right?
Yeah,
Like
it
a
is a
lot of-
mobile home,
yeah,
actually.
Oh, see, there you go. A
Is it
fixed.
because it's?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it because there's a lot of land associated with?
Yeah,
being
and I
out
think
there,
people
or-
just can't. You're saying why it's hot out there?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
there's like plans down the road that they're going to develop the city into just like a suburb of Vegas. Like just they have like a lot of
Yeah,
things going on.
there's a
there.
lot of stuff going on in Pahrump.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
Yeah, over the
Yeah.
next 5 years.
Well,
Like,
when
that's
I-
the hidden secret.
I remember when I went there because there's a winery over there. So
There
I went to go
is?
check it out. It's not great, but they have a restaurant
Yeah.
associated with it. That's not bad. It's okay. I mean, that was a long time ago. But I went there and I had to go to a birthday party right afterwards, and I asked the locals there, I was like, hey, where's your mall? They're like, well, Walmart's right down the street. It's
Yeah.
right there. And I'm like, that's your mall?
Yeah.
They're like, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess, what they
That's
do
their
out there in the
idea of luxury.
rurals.
Yeah.
Rurals.
They
There
also
we
got
go again.
a awesome racetrack out there. One of the best. ones
Do
on the West
they?
Coast.
Yeah.
Yep. Spring Mountain.
Yeah.
No way. Better than the one we have out here?
Yes,
Yeah.
way better because all the roads are banked. Like versus the like it's like a track for like motorcycles. Like it's like a curved road, not like or the one.
We would do that with our
speedways.
boys. We'd go out there. They always wanted to ride out there, so that's what prom is for us, is riding
Yeah. That's
On
interesting.
their
Yeah.
motorcycles.
everything.
Nice.
Yeah,
At the track, so they
yeah,
bring Spring
everything.
Mountain? Oh, me
Yeah,
too. Nice.
it's crazy.
No
that
way.
everything
Yeah, I
is.
love that track.
I'm a boy mom, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do boy mom things.
all boy stuff.
All boy
Yeah, I know nothing about girls.
Soccer mom, not a soccer mom. You're a
No,
baseball
no
mom.
baseball.
You're a
Yeah,
baseball
yeah,
mom.
hockey.
Hockey mom.
Hockey
Yeah, but they don't
mom.
play hockey. Your kids only play baseball.
Oh no, they play hockey.
All right. Well,
Yeah.
we're 15 minutes into the show. We need to talk about
We
auctions.
still need to talk about
Let's
auctions. It's the whole reason why
All right,
we have
what other
Casey here.
stats do you want to know? Anybody want to know? Nobody? Great. Okay, moving on. So let's talk about the auction. What do you do? Why the auction? Why'd you start there? I mean, so many questions. Answer them all right now. Go.
Well,
Okay.
I was going to say, are there any properties right now?
There's really, I mean, they've been
there's-
trickling back
Yeah.
in little by little, and I'm sure we're getting ready for a wave to come hit. But the auction's always been okay for us. Like we would buy, like in the past when all I was doing was flipping, we would maybe buy like 10 to 15 a year from the auction because you have the hedge funds down there and they just bid everything up to the moon
Everything,
and their
yeah.
money
Yeah.
is basically free.
Yeah.
And a lot of times if they get to the point where they need to take on inventory because their fund is so large, if they don't deploy it, they lose a lot of that for the next quarter. So they'll just start buying stuff at break evens. But every once in a while you'll snag a good one from the auction, especially at like some of the higher price points. Like one of the best deals that we've ever done was bought at auction. But yeah, but consistently the returns are not as good and there's a lot more risk. And then it's kind of a pain because you gotta have the cash.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you have to literally, well, not a briefcase full of cash, but
Literally,
if
though.
you're gonna
Yeah,
bid, if
yeah.
you're gonna bid at auction, and especially if they don't know you down there, like the auctioneers and whoever's running it, if they don't know you, then they're gonna require that you have cashier's checks like on file with them, ready to buy.
Yeah.
So like the second that you win the auction, they'll be like, okay, cashier, hand me your cashier's check. So you have to pull the cash out. So if you're trying to buy with hard money, you can't do it down there. You have to have the cash in your bank account.
So if they do know you, like, are you good for hard money? Can you do hard money if they know you? Or
No,
is it,
you
okay,
can't.
can
No,
never
you
do
have
hard money.
to buy cash,
Okay.
but sometimes like if you're gonna go bid at the auction, it's difficult to like you have to wake up in the morning, go down and
Mm-hmm.
pull cashier's checks, and you have to know like, okay, which properties am I gonna try to buy? I need to make sure I have
Multiples
enough money.
of, yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to go down there with literally cashier's checks of 700,000. And you have to leave them with them. So-
And it's
So
like
if you-
payable to yourself, right? So that's the other, like, I know we're getting into the
Details.
broads,
Mm-hmm.
but even the details always fascinate me. So it's payable to yourself, and then if the property is awarded, then you endorse
Assign it over.
over.
Yes,
Yeah, endorse
exactly.
over to Nevada Legal.
So what if you bring,
Right,
so,
yeah.
and here's the other thing I heard, is that you have to bring small denominations, because
Exactly.
if you bring too big, then they
there.
don't get it,
Yeah.
you don't get it back.
Well, you
it's
get
a
it back.
refund, but it
Something-
could take like it
Couple
might be
weeks.
10 days or
Oh, they do
2 weeks.
refund,
Yeah.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, so it's like
Yeah,
if
but
the
it's
house, if you bring in, if you know that you're gonna bid on some houses, you don't know what they're gonna go for exactly, but you wanna have like increments. We never really did in the 1,000 increments, but more like 5 or maybe 5, but mostly like $10,000 increments. Because if a property goes for 180 and all you have is $200,000 cashier's checks, you gotta give them both of them. And then they'll refund you down the line, but you don't wanna have 30 or 50 or 100 grand sitting
Yeah.
there with
Yeah.
them for the next 2 weeks.
I think
or-
even 10,000 or 20,000 is a lot, right?
Yes.
I
Can
mean,
you,
Yeah.
so what if you bid on one and then you bid on another one? Can you use the money from that one to,
Yeah, it depends who the trustee is, but I think most of the time it's separate. It's like you get a receipt for each transaction.
Oh,
so-
yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna suck.
And I was going to say, usually though, when you go down there, you're not bidding on multiple, unless it's a hedge fund, right? I mean,
Well,
unless
I
it's
mean, honestly, I wouldn't even go down there unless I had at least like 5 or 6 that I was going after.
Wow.
Because they
so
get
you could be prepared to go for or to buy 5 or 6 that day?
Well, I think after you
Or-
get, I would go prepared to buy 2 or 3 of
Wow.
them. But if
that's
if I did only go down there prepared to buy
Yeah.
one, if I lose the first 3, then I get the fourth one, then I just won't bid on the last
Yeah.
few, you know,
Okay.
or I'll wait for those other ones. But if you're gonna win a property at auction, like just take it and move
Yeah.
on, because again, it's
Yeah.
tough when you have the hedge funds down there.
Yeah, that's true.
So why did you start with the auctions? Like, why did you ever?
It's easy. Like you don't have to know how
That
to.
doesn't sound anything like we know.
Yeah, it's-
Let me try that again.
Yeah. Well, let's even talk about like
The com-
identifying the property, right? And let's
Yep.
go through the process, because that is fascinating to me, because you can't pull title on it, right?
You
I mean,
can't go to
that
the
tip-
property and, like,
let's
go check it
let's go
out
back
most of the
to, like,
time, right?
Old school, right?
Yep.
Let's go and so you identify a property,
Yep.
and then what? Like you go
Well,
and visit, see,
You
drive
gotta, so
by.
you got to see what property through Nevada Legal News
Right.
or whatever service that you're going through. You got to see what properties are coming to auction that day. Usually you go for the week, so like you can prepare everything at once. But so you'd see what properties are going. There's a lot of companies down there, like the Griffin Group. They'll bid on your behalf.
Mm-hmm.
They'll get photos for you. They have like a site that has everything live that you can all bid through. So there's other services down there like that too. So you see what property are coming. A lot of times you can look at maybe old photos on the MLS, but when back in the day when I was bidding, because I haven't gone to the auction heavily for like 5 years or so, because it just got so saturated, like because you got like auction.com
Yeah.
and all these
Yeah.
companies that would like drive internet traffic
Yeah.
down there downtown.
Yeah.
So like on the because auction.com would only go like every other Wednesday and like, or it was like every other Friday and Wednesday. So it was something like
Now
that.
it's Friday, right?
It's
Now
Fridays
it's Fridays.
only.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Now it's Fridays.
I think it's
only.
every Friday
Yeah.
and then like every other Wednesday or
Right.
something like
Yeah.
that. That auction.com is running the auction there. All the rest of the days, those are the better days to go,
Oh.
because it's
You're not
it's
bidding
just-
with like random ass people that are
Right, yeah. the days-
Consumers that are get online to see
Yeah.
like, oh, auction properties. Let me go and try to do, like the guy,
Right.
the story I was telling you about. Yeah.
Exactly. And if you have newbies going down like that, they're gonna see a house that's worth 200,000 and think they're gonna deal at like 160. It's like those numbers don't work. You
Yeah.
won't make money. Especially sometimes I've seen people go down there and buy properties that they didn't have photos of, or they just saw old photos of the MLS. They didn't physically drive them that morning, and it's burnt down. It's like you're out of luck. If you bought that property,
Yeah.
you're out of luck.
Right.
Isn't that
Yeah.
crazy? Such
Wow.
highlight. So that's not fun. Like that when you say that, or easy, that's not easy.
Well,
You know what I
okay,
mean? Like,
so
if you're-
comparatively,
if you're-
it's just work. It's
Yeah,
not like
yeah.
it's not like if you're gonna go after like trying to find properties on the MLS,
Mm-hmm.
it takes like diligence. You got to get your license. You got to know how to find properties on the MLS. You got to write a ton of offers to even get a property, versus just waking up. Or I used to get up at like 4:30 or 5 in the morning. Well, the night before I'd prep. I'd see all the properties I was gonna bid. I comp them all. I'd build spreadsheets for all of them to know, like, so I had it all ready as they came up.
Engineering.
Right.
Yeah. So then I'd wake up very early in the morning and I'd go drive all the properties. And then once I did that, got all the photos, I'd make sure that my bids were right, like as far as like what I thought I was going to put into the.
Hold on, I'm
So
gonna back
wait,
up for a
so
second.
yeah,
Wait. I'm
they're-
gonna back up
yep.
for a second. When you pick the properties, how do you decide which ones you're gonna bid for? Is it is it based off a price point? Is it area? Is it what?
All the above, yeah.
okay.
Like so the price point in the area, obviously, but at the time we were buying with like a fund that was like almost 15 million, so we just had to put it to work all the time. So we weren't as picky back then. Now I'd be a little bit more specific with what I'm targeting, especially with everything that's going on and going to the end of the year. Like there's so much uncertainty. So then now I would only pick properties that I'm like, I love that house, but the main thing is I'd always look for ones that to make sure they had an opening bid, and see how many times they've gone to auction. So if a property's if it's the first time that it's going up for auction that day, there's a good chance that morning it's going to get postponed, that the homeowners may be calling the bank or the trustee and they're going to get it postponed, but they can only be postponed 3 times. The 4th time it has to either cancel and then start the foreclosure process
all over again, yeah.
or it has to sell. So I would look for ones that had an opening bid and then hopefully had gone at least twice to know that it's more likely to actually go to auction, because you'd go drive all these properties. Let's say I woke up in the morning and I go my maps and I make this route that's like a 3-hour drive in the morning to go see all these properties, and then I'd have 10 of them and 4 of them would cancel, or like even sometimes 7 or all 10 of them would cancel and be
Jesus.
like, well, there goes 8 hours of.
Is that crazy? It's just so insane, right?
I'm
Yeah.
still mind blown. So what time does the auctions normally start?
9.
Okay, so you have to wake up at like 4:30 in the morning to get out
But
there.
Yeah.
typically you do it too the day before, right? I mean, like
The drive-in.
Yeah, I mean, if I was
you're-
more prepared, probably, yeah. I would have done the day before, but when you have a lot going on,
Yeah.
it's like,
And you don't get access to those properties, like you would have to peek in the windows
legally.
or,
Not-
oh.
Well, yeah, I think a lot of that is like a drive-by appraisals, which you
yeah,
would.
exactly. If they're vacant, we'll try to see if there's a loose window or something and just take a
Jesus.
peek. But if they're, strike that from
You
the
just
record.
said
Exposed.
exposed. Yeah, it's yeah.
If,
this is-
but if they're occupied, yeah, we just roll through. If it's an occupied house, we pretty much wouldn't go after it unless it's like a newer build house where it's like, how bad could it really be inside
Yeah.
there?
yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
And
backfired
and
as
talk
well,
about
but
that. If it's occupied, and let's just say you're going that route, and you're going to go with the occupied, then what?
If you buy it,
Yeah.
Oh, right away.
Yeah.
That day we'll go down to the property, post a note on the door saying, we're the new owners of the property.
So
Please
evict?
contact us right away.
Yeah.
Would you evict, or are you doing
It was
like
a cash for keys, right?
Yeah.
That's
At
what
the
most
time, yeah,
people do.
I don't know that we didn't have to evict people too often, so
Yeah.
we mostly would work with them and
Cash
try to
for
get them cash
keys.
for keys. So we
Yeah.
could say, I've got $2,000. I can give you $2,000 if you can get out in 2 weeks. I'll give you $2,500 if you can get out this week, like
Yeah.
entice them like that. Or I'm going to take $300 and go down to the constable and you can get nothing. So that's kind of what you'd have to say to them, really.
So I get
Now we're getting- yeah.
nothing, or I get $2,500.
Yeah,
Yeah.
either way you're moving.
Yeah,
So-
either way you're moving. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
that's-
did you ever have a tenant or a homeowner that lived there, property went, you bought it at the auction and they trashed the house? After
yes,
they had
yeah.
to move because they hated everybody.
I feel like
Yeah,
those
they-
are like we're mirroring REO days, right? So this is all REO.
I mean,
Like,
I used to
yeah?
remember going in where
Yeah.
people would like take hammers to the
Yeah.
stairs, right?
Yep,
And,
yep.
Like
or
all
drill
the
holes in the
walls
bathtub,
or-
pour concrete down the toilet, pour concrete
Oh
in
my-
the pool skimmers.
Shut up.
Yep.
So
So you
What do
avoid.
you do for that?
Well, I was gonna say
Fix
so.
I know,
fix
but
it?
don't you report? I almost feel like that was a
Like
like
a-
they could get put in jail for that,
I
right?
mean,
It was
Yeah. good
'Cause it's
luck.
vandalism.
Yeah, but I mean, how are you going to say that they did it? Did you witness it? I mean, really, I'm going after criminal charges after somebody who's.
Lost everything.
Yeah.
Losing their home, and then you want to throw on criminal charges.
Yeah, what's
Jeez,
wrong
V,
with you?
I know.
man,
Cut these people some slack.
come on, don't you know the DJ?
and so with that, the show is
geez.
over.
Yeah,
I don't know who these
yeah.
people are. Yeah.
My lord.
No, I'm just saying, like I just feel like people shouldn't do shit like that. Like I get you're upset,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It's not their fault.
Yeah.
Okay, they're a victim. All right. It's
who the hell are you talking to?
that's the story that they say. That's a,
Casey, this is like good cop, bad cop, like angel, good angel, bad angel. Casey, he's like his hands like going from back and forth just to Anyway, he sees it all.
So clearly,
right?
I'm not the good angel.
Yeah.
you're
Because
bad cop.
I'm bad.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't know.
So
I
you
got
avoid that
really
then,
upset
right?
about stuff like that.
Yeah, you typically try to avoid tenant occupied properties
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
can. Like
Dude,
we're
it's
talking-
not the tenants that are ruining the properties.
owners.
It's the
Yeah,
owners who
they're
are
salty.
pissed off.
You're right.
Sure.
I shouldn't say tenant
Because they're pissed off
yeah.
that they are losing
Yeah.
their home.
Yeah.
Right.
Right?
They
I
feel
mean,
like it's not their fault. They
Yeah.
shouldn't be. But in a lot of cases, like when I bought my own personal house, the first one I ever bought from auction, and the guy had lived there for like 5.5 years for free, and he still wanted money.
Oh, wow.
Like they just play the
Yeah.
pity card.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, why haven't you been working all this time
Yeah.
and saving up all that money you're putting towards your mortgage? But
Yeah.
that's not how they got in the position they were anyway.
So you ended up paying him to get out, and you.
I think in that scenario, no. I think he wanted like $1,000, and I gave him like $150 and said you could take the fridge.
I don't want that
I was
piece.
gonna-
Wow. Man, Casey, it's brutal up in here, huh, Beta?
Yeah. All right. So you buy at the auction, you
Mm-hmm.
buy anywhere from 10 to 15, and then you turn them around, right? I mean, so you have a fund that you were working with,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and so you were doing it for them,
Right.
right? Not your own
exactly.
personal. But
Exactly,
that's
yep.
changed over time, or no? That's
Yeah,
that
so
was-
for the first 3 years, maybe a little longer than that, I was working for somebody else. I was doing everything with a partner as well. We were doing like the acquisitions, running all the construction, listing the properties, ordering all the material on Amazon, delivering tile. Like I'd fill the back of my Jeep up with and make trips to properties delivering tile. It was absolutely crazy. And our first year we did 75 property or something like that, somewhere around there. And we were just so stressed out doing all this stuff ourselves. And then eventually we hired like project manager, transaction coordinator, like different roles to take the stuff off our plate because like there's so many moving parts to one renovation, you know, let alone when you have 70, you probably have 30 properties at a time if you're doing, you know, 70 renovations throughout the year.
Jesus.
And then
insane,
you forget a dome light, a faucet, a fixture, anything. And so it was miserable. Now, fast forward to whatever, 5-6 years later, like I don't even, a lot of the times it's pretty bad. Like I'll buy a property, never see it, other than photos. I'll have somebody go take photos. I'll never see the property from
Physically walk it. Yeah.
I'll never. I don't want to go. And then I have a contractor that'll go out
He's a
and
diva
handle
now.
Yeah. It's just there's better.
Remember
uses
your
for my time.
roots.
Remember the roots. Yeah, never forget where you came from, Casey.
I'm not saying I'm not willing to go there. There's a
I'm
better
just
use
kidding.
of my
Yeah,
time.
no, I totally.
I already
get it.
told him
Yeah.
not to get offended because we're going to say a bunch of crap in here. Okay, so you don't go to the properties. You look at them through photo. She stopped you from talking. Finish your story, please.
Oh, okay. So yeah, that's the only way that you can scale up is if you
Beta.
remove yourself from those like time intensive tasks. So So
No emotional attachment to these things.
Zero at all. Like I used to get, if we had a property back in the day that like would get broken into or the appliances stolen, like if it was literally midnight, I'll get out of bed, fly down there, you know, try to fix it all first. Now, like I get a call, like someone broke in this house and stole the appliances. I'm like, okay,
Wow.
like put new appliances
Yeah.
in. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
I won't go out there or anything or that. I mean,
Call the cops.
That's experience.
Yeah.
There's
right?
no
'Cause
reason-
There's
right.
no reason to get your energy all out in an uproar about it. 'Cause
Total-
you can't do
yeah.
anything about it.
Right.
Yeah, right. So I
Exactly.
get it.
So, and just
Yeah.
like anything that's disturbing my peace now, like I try to push it out of my life. Because
Casey, we're gonna see
just
Casey.
want to relax, you know.
That's funny.
I'm gonna rub your head next time.
You want the good luck.
So, okay, so
Sorry, Beta.
you okay over there?
I'm a married man. Okay?
I know you're
I'm a baby on the way.
a married man with a baby on the way, and I love them both dearly, Casey. They're both Casey. You know, that's his wife's name.
No
Yeah,
way.
Casey and Casey. Yeah.
Casey. So it's like when he's
Did you
getting mad.
find
he's
her at
like,
the
"Casey."
auction? I'm kidding.
Yeah, mail order.
Oh
Brian.
man, that's brutal.
I'm not.
Oh, my
I didn't say
gosh.
that. I didn't say
Yeah,
that. It didn't
yeah.
happen. Okay, what were we talking about?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah, this
Renovations,
is your show.
Renovation. Okay, so
Options.
talk about renovations. You had said
Okay.
something in your profile about something about strategy.
Yeah,
You
I
said
mean,
you
I
have
mean,
a
I
specific
don't-
strategy for flipping
I
properties.
don't know
so
if you've seen his
of
properties. Their properties, in my opinion, they're just, you know, you've got investors, you got wholesalers, you got all these different segment of the business. Their properties is almost like a high end. And I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah.
And you'll speak to that in the contracting, but it's got a different, clean, modern look to all their properties that they
Yep.
renovate. It's
Okay.
beautiful. Yeah,
So-
it's not the typical investor. So
Right. We try to set a standard, and I learned that from my previous partner. If I hadn't started out that way, I could easily see myself going right in and being like just straight numbers guy and being like, well, that's not
Some
going to get me a
laminate.
return. Yeah, just cut it. But now it makes it.
does
so,
it work?
Does it- yeah.
Leave it.
Right. So we just had a lot of success doing it that way, going the full every single time. We'll do a full gut pretty much. So, and it's just the peace of mind of knowing that like if things shift or maybe I left a little bit of money out or I overspent a little bit, but just knowing that the properties are going to turn way quicker and that's so important with the velocity of your money.
Yeah.
And I never see flips or other properties that like if they're priced right, they just don't sit. It's the ones that people cut corners on that'll sit forever, and then you end up doing the renovation twice, or like, and it just shoots you in the foot. So we just go the full way because I know that somebody will fall in love. Most of the time, we end up getting paid for it anyways, and getting more than what we thought we were going to because we went the full-fledged flip, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, so that's why we go the all the way every time.
Nice.
Well, talk about like what is all the way? Like I mean,
Oh,
so we're talking about real estate people. Get your mind out of the gutter, Beta. I see you.
First, you're talking about rubbing his head.
I
then you're talking about-
know, it's very easy. But talk about that because even there's the little things that you would understand. That for me, I mean, it's all beautiful. But yeah, talk about. I mean, a laminate versus what?
Right. Well, laminate
Like
versus
versus-
vinyl plank versus tile, sure. But going all the way
Yeah.
is flooring, new baseboards because when you have those little dinky ones.
Baseboards.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I know, because I just
Baseboards.
renovated my
Yeah.
house and
Yeah.
I'm
She
obsessed.
gets
So if you're
it.
pulling the floors out, you gotta put new baseboards.
Yes.
They're so
Yeah.
cheap too. So it's
Yeah.
like, you spend another $800, but it makes
Looks
a
better.
world of difference.
Yeah, it looks better,
Yeah.
right? The bigger
So
baseboards.
yeah, taller baseboards, all gut the kitchen to pull out the kitchen cabinets, because if you're gonna spend $1,500, $2,000 and the cabinets are 15 years old, you might as well spend $3,000 and just get brand
Brand new cabinets, yeah. That's what I
Because
did.
you'll end
Yeah.
up getting another $1,500.
No,
All
'cause
I
you-
wanted was a desk. That's all I needed in my house.
Started with the desk
It
with
started
your
with, I
house.
need a desk
Yeah.
because I don't have a space, because I
Like
do
a
one
built-in
activity.
desk or like a
No, I just
IKEA
wanted
desk?
God, because I work from the office. I have
Uh-huh.
offices, and so I come to the office to work. My house was not where I worked, right? It was where I hung out and spent time with my kids and whatnot. But I needed a desk because I was sitting at the couch,
Mhm.
and I was literally like the stupid couch spring was like up my butt. I mean, it was weird. Like every time I sat down, I'm like, all right, it's time to get I
New
need
couch.
a desk. Well, a new couch, and which I did too, but a desk, right? I need a desk. So I decided I was converting my guest bedroom into a office space.
Mm-hmm.
And that went into, okay, well, can I just, if I'm going to do that, I need new flooring in there. I don't want to mess with it later, so
Yeah.
let's do new flooring. We started with new flooring, and just in there, the guy was there, and I was like, well, can you give me measurements for the whole house? And we
Before
started.
you have a new kitchen,
That's
new
what she did.
appliances.
I
She did that.
So I
So
was
she
like, well,
started-
why are you
yeah,
measuring
yeah.
in here? The island, I don't like the way it fits this way. Can
Yeah.
you move it this way? And he said, yeah. And I go, can you expand it? He said, yeah, but the countertops aren't going to be the same. All right, new countertops. And,
She had
and
a
he-
whole
Down
renovation.
the rabbit
I
hole.
mean, it just, yeah. $60,000 later,
There you
plus,
go.
plus, plus, right?
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
times, but plus, but like, it was just,
So 60,000 plus plus plus. What is that?
yeah, I don't know, but a lot more.
But it's still cheaper than getting a house.
Like,
the
I-
house that
Sure.
she wanted was 850 or something, so still
Yeah.
cheaper than that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
that's how
like
you
the
had to
down
look at
payment
it.
on that would have been
Yeah.
180,000.
Yeah. Right.
So, because you're looking at, conventional,
Yeah.
it's going to be jumbo and blah, blah. So I was just like, this is way easier. My mortgage is like $800 at my house. So
That's amazing.
I was going to go from 800 and 850 including HOA, because I bought right.
Mm-hmm.
But
Those HOAs, I'm telling you.
yeah, the HOAs.
Those HOAs will get you every time. They get you every
Hoes
time.
in the
Never
house.
heard it called
Yeah.
So
We called them that in escrow all the time. Yeah,
HOAs.
HOA wouldn't give us the HOA. Yeah. Ever-
So went from 800, it was going to be 850 to a $3,000 mortgage, and I was like, I can't eat out as much, I can't travel as much. I mean, nobody's traveling, but except for Shelly and Brandon. But you can't travel as much, you can't, right? I'm like, why do I want to do that to myself and stress myself out? I mean, God forbid this real estate thing doesn't work out. I could be
Yeah.
a manager at McDonald's and
Yeah.
still pay my mortgage.
7-Eleven.
7-Eleven and still pay my
You still
mortgage.
know the DJ.
Never doing that in my life. But
Right.
But anyway, so yeah, down the rabbit hole, might as well just do the whole thing. But baseboards, that's how we started. Go
Oh
ahead.
yeah, baseboards, cabinets, countertops.
I was like, and you got mad at me for getting him off track. Okay.
Try it like a new tile for the showers, landscaping, actually doing some landscaping and not just raking the dirt so it looks clean. I mean, that's going all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, the properties that they have, they're just clean and modern.
Yeah.
And like move-in ready.
Right.
Beautiful.
So, okay,
Yeah.
so let's just say, give me an example of what you bought your last property for, what the renovation costs were, and what you turned it for. Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah.
All right,
sure.
then let's hear it.
Okay. So
Give me like 3 examples.
3 examples. Okay, I'll give you 3 examples.
He's like, I got it
Oh,
right
he's
here.
got a
Yeah.
spreadsheet and shit.
so
excited.
let's see. Let me pull up
Pulling out the engineer mind here. How are we on time? Good.
this one.
We're great on time.
I'm just
You know-
gonna grab like normal, more reasonable properties, not like.
Oh yeah,
the-
that's the one thing I didn't do on our stats was what the current average and median price points are.
Okay.
I forgot.
What is it?
Is that helpful? Hold on.
Yeah, let's do it.
Jesus,
Hurry
I'm
up.
getting there.
We're waiting on you.
Down. So on average, the average price is 367,922. Median is 317. So
What was the average you said?
average is
367.
367,922.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all of our properties
Close.
are pretty much averaging on the resale under the median price point. So that's why also when COVID hit and everything got shut down and quarantined, like I wasn't as worried because I knew that my average resale was at like 245 outside of the I took out the outlier of my 1.2 million. That one
Yeah.
I wanted to just get rid of at the time, but then my average was like 240,000 on the resale, so I wasn't too worried about it. But So let's talk about one that we've just recently did. So this
Is
one.
this your spreadsheet? Like, is this something that you
Did you
created,
create
or
it?
is that a?
Yeah,
pretty cool.
so we had one spreadsheet.
So
many
I-
colors.
I restarted it and restructured it so that I could see a bunch of different stuff for me.
I
But
need to go to class just to understand that.
so
There's a master's degree you can
There's
get
a
at UNLV.
I can show you how to
engineering
use
and
this in
finance.
3 minutes. It's really simple, actually. The easy way to do your math on any flip, aside from take out the
Yeah.
spreadsheet, all the complexity, is just basically if you want to make a reasonable amount, which is like roughly 8%, then you just go whatever it's worth. If it's worth 250, times it by 0.85,
Okay.
so 85%, and
Okay.
subtract off your repairs, and you can stay
Oh.
alive. That's what normal flippers will buy at, but we usually try to buy at 80%, so add another 5% on the margin, and then take the repairs off, because we have marketing budgets and salaries. It's different when you're just a mom and pop.
Yeah.
You can afford to do those thinner, tighter deals. So this one actually we bought on the MLS.
I'm going to have to watch this part again
I
because
am
I
too.
was like,
was
what
just
did
Yo,
he
thinking,
I'll just
Beta.
here. I'll tell you.
Beta,
I'll-
can you
it'll be-
bookmark that? Okay,
Yeah,
bookmark that,
bookmark
Beta.
it.
Bookmark it. I don't even know that. What do you say that in a? Okay, all right. At
Okay.
40, at
See,
40.
I told you.
Yeah.
Just keep going. All right.
So just to go through that
So
math
he's-
again,
he's
if
actually
it is
showing the math.
250,000.
Okay, if you don't have a spreadsheet, you could do it right on your
250,
iPhone
yes,
or whatever.
times it by
Shelley.
0.85.
Okay.
That gets you to 212,500. Let's say the rehab's 30,000, so minus the 30,000 off that 212, you're at 182,500. If you're going to resell a house for 250,000, you want to buy it for right around 182,500.
Ah, okay.
I really want to buy it for 100, but that
Yeah.
doesn't work that way.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't work that way, unfortunately.
I'm gonna watch that.
So
back.
here's the.
Okay,
so-
I have one more question
Sure.
for you because I have properties listed from. I mean, I think my last one I had not my last one, but I had from 500,000 to 1.3 million, right? I mean, I've got a full array of listings, but I will always get these people that if the house has been on the market for 30-ish days or 40-ish days, then they'll send me an offer, like
blind
almost
offer.
like a blind offer. They've
Yeah.
never seen the property. They've just like here's
makes no
this.
sense. Yeah.
Right. And it's way lower than what anybody would do. The house has been renovated already. So they're like, well, the repairs and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just, so of course I present that, but
Right.
do you guys automatically like send offers? Cause there's a system that does that, right?
Yeah, one of my buddies goes crazy with that. He'll send out like 1,700. He'll send out a blast overnight, and I'll get like offers on my renovated properties that are like it's listed. Let's say it's listed for 200,000. He'll offer me 123. I'm like, you're never gonna get.
never gonna get
You're
that.
just gonna
Yeah.
upset a lot of people. And
Yeah.
if you're licensed and you're doing
Yeah.
that, like you could
Yeah.
probably, I don't know. Some people might get really pissed off and
Yeah.
report you and
That
whatnot.
doesn't
So.
even-
Yeah, we always try to
It's a waste of
go
time.
after properties that are like listed lower, or I try not to lowball anybody more than like 30, 40,000 on the MLS, because beyond that, I mean, we've gotten them for like a bigger, like let's say it was listed at 260, you got it for 195, but they're so rare. Like the sweet spot's right around that $30,000, hitting them below what it's listed. So,
Okay.
so we don't do it like that, and I go more targeted because you're just going to get a ton of traffic and upset people. So we just go after ones that are actually realistically could turn into a deal. So this is one that I bought on the MLS, but 90% of the stuff or 95% of the stuff that we buy is direct to homeowner because of all of the marketing that we do. So this
Okay.
one was on the MLS though. We got it for 162, and then we got a commission back. So I usually credit that back to the purchase price. So on the purchase, I basically bought it for 157 with the commission back. We put 45,000 into it. A lot of holding expenses and stuff. Basically, $5,300 were holding expenses. The renovation was about 45,000, and then we sold it for 263. So purchase price 162
Cool.
or 157. We put 45 into it, sold it for 263. That was on the MLS. So
Okay.
I mean
Wow.
that's
So when properties are on the MLS, you're probably going to get less of a return, right? But you're still
Typically,
aiming for
yeah,
that
'cause you're-
8%.
right, because that one I just went through honestly was an exception because that was a really good deal that we got on the MLS. And what happened was we got it under contract right at Corona or COVID, and I was like on the fence if I wanted to cancel or not. But I was like, we had a bunch of properties we had like 15 under contract that we were purchasing at that time, and not to mention the 20-some properties we
That were
already
already in,
owned,
yeah.
right? So I was like on the fence, like, do I, scrap all these just to be safe? I'm like, you know what, for me personally, I would have rather just, which is what I did, work for free for 3 months or make nothing and everybody keeps working, even if I broke even on all those properties, than to just cancel them all and disregard all that work I did. None of my people get paid. All of my contractors are scrambling for work. So I just powered through, and it was good that I did, because that was one example of when I was on the fence of, and then we ended up getting more for it than we thought we were going to.
That's such a great risk that you took too, because back in what was that, March? I mean, we had no idea
Yeah.
what
Right.
this was going to look like, whether it was going to.
I mean, we still have no idea
still
what's going to
have-
happen.
Right.
But
Let's
at
be
least
real.
now there's light at the end of the tunnel. I mean, the market is insane, so that's
Yeah.
a great risk that you took to save people's jobs and not be selfish, and
Yeah,
that's really cool.
yeah, for sure. And yeah, so that's
Because
one-
that's the other problem, right? If your contractor goes and finds
Oh.
another job, you're screwed. You're going to have to find
Yeah.
someone else
right.
to
That's
replace
the hardest
them.
part is finding a good, solid contractor that does good quality work.
Now,
Right,
do
and
you
shows
have
up.
your own
And shows up.
contractors? Like, are these contractors, Casey Ryan's contractors?
No,
or-
well, they're
so-
their own general contractors, so they
Are they good to you because of the amount of work that you get? Because that's what I'm saying.
absolutely
Like,
they go above and beyond for us,
Yeah.
and I don't make it like you work for me sort of thing. It's
Yeah.
like we're a team here. Like
So-
and if they come to me, they're like, hey, we quoted here. Like the just transparency
Mm-hmm.
is key. So they'll be like, we were trying to make 10% on this bid or whatever, and this and happened. Like we're gonna be at like 3%. And they need to send change. Like I'm not going to be like, nope,
Yeah.
you said this price. It's
Yeah.
like everybody has
Yeah.
to make
Everybody's
a
a
living.
team,
So
yeah.
I'll
That's
I
cool.
won't beat them up like that, it just makes my life easier if I try to go through every single line item that they quote me on and like work them down. Like I know what the prices should be. If they're reasonable, then I just go with it, because I'd rather spend that 2 hours trying to produce more revenue than because if I try to cut off $1,800 off a bid, I could just go find another deal and
Yeah.
try to make 20. So
Yeah.
that's what I try to focus on.
No, I mean, it really is amazing because, I mean, I was telling you before we got on air was that we were having some work done to our backyard, and the amount of contractors that we've gone through.
Yeah.
I mean, it's insane for our little yard. I mean, we have a
Yeah.
half acre, but for our yard, I can't even count. I don't even know where we're at. I'm
Yeah.
so frustrated. I'm like, and I told my husband, the first person that, I don't care like what he comes in, I don't care what he gives us the bid for, take it, because I don't want to go through this again, because by the
Yeah.
time they come back, they've already gotten a job. So
Right.
we're not, our work is taking forever to get done.
Yeah, or you end up
So-
paying for things kind of twice when they
Yeah.
overlap, and then
Yeah.
you might as well
Casey's
just
got
go
a
through the
guy.
first bit.
No, I tried Casey's guy, but I think he was busy.
Yeah,
So,
they all are
they're
really busy right now.
For like my little work, right? Like
Yeah.
he's constant work, so it's,
But the same thing even if they're busy, like no matter what, you just got to be on top
Yeah.
of them all the time.
Right.
Otherwise, yeah.
My husband works for the government, so he feels like, I tell you once, you be there.
That's not how it works.
Oh, that's so cute.
Right? I know, that's why I was going, we lost another one, all right. Bring Val in, let Val take care of this.
Yeah.
And so that's that. I just told you one that was pretty
Yep.
good. Here's like a normal, pretty average deal.
So you go straight to the actual seller, the owner of the property, right? That's your
Exactly.
ideal situation. The MLS is like an off the wall sometimes if you find a good deal, but
Yeah, and when I started for the first 3 years, pretty much all we bought properties on was the MLS, and we were able to find 100 a year, roughly. I mean, there was other coming from agents or wholesalers or whatever, but now for me, it's easier to just put money into my marketing machine and let
Yeah.
the deals come out. Like, it's just easier that way for me. So this one we bought for 140. We put 29 into it, sold it for 221. Then you have some holding expenses and stuff. And then so these are just kind of normal deals. This other one I just bought, it's over in Paradise Palms. This was one of the better deals of this year so far. So we bought it for 203. I put roughly 72,000 into it, and then we're selling it right now for through 340.
Where are you, I mean, so just even.
he puts money in his marketing machine
And it just magically,
crazy.
it's
and it's
magic.
like poof.
That's what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
right, because like, even if you were to find this on the MLS, you wouldn't find this on the MLS, right, V? Like,
It would
that's
get
not-
bid
that's
up.
not-
It would get bid
yeah.
up. You'd have the
Yeah,
competition
that's
of other investors.
crazy.
Yeah.
That's insane. I didn't even know that there was properties in Las Vegas for that sales price.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like-
I mean, the thing is, you got to spend a lot of money on marketing to get
And,
access
like,
to deals like that.
The people that you're going to find these sellers, where are they going? Are they?
They're coming to me. No,
They can't
they're
buy anything.
yeah.
Or are they moving out of
They're
state?
renting, they're moving out of state,
Okay.
they're downsizing.
So
they're
for some
moving
of
with
these
family.
people, like the
Yeah,
money that
it's-
they've made so far is a lot, right? I mean, like
Right,
I've
because they
got
bought that house for
Right.
203. They either inherited it,
Yeah.
or
Okay.
they bought it for $110,000,
Right.
5 years ago.
So they're making money.
Yeah, and they've just completely destroyed the homes most of the time.
Right,
So it's like
so-
they're not going to get that top
Gotcha.
dollar. That if they list it on the MLS, a lot of them they're going to end up basically netting what they would if we just bought it directly from them.
Correct.
Yeah.
And they could be done and not
Gotcha.
have to worry about
Okay.
anything or agents or traffic and all that stuff.
Fascinating. I want to be a wholesaler. Can I be a wholesaler?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll show you everything I know.
You're a wholesaler. You're a wholesaler. Everybody's a wholesaler. Okay, so I did have a question before I did that whole shenanigan. I know, I forgot. Damn it. Continue.
It's so good. I mean, just looking at this is so amazing. It's so, I don't know, it's next level, right?
Yeah.
It's so next level. So back in the day when I was talking about the auction
Mm-hmm.
properties, what was the program that most people, like what was the system that most people use? I mean, I saw Excel spreadsheets, like manual Excel spreadsheets.
Yeah, that's honestly
and that
what it
was-
still was. Or like
Okay.
you'd go down to the auction
Yeah.
and there'd be like Chicago
Yeah.
Tire, Fidelity, or
Yeah.
whoever would just be down there with
With
a
our
sheet.
little sheets
Yeah,
of-
like
of
here's a sheet of the
trustee
properties
sales.
that are
Yeah.
coming, but most of the time
Yeah.
when you got there, you'd already know. You could also pick those sheets up in advance,
Right.
and then they'd update it the morning of. Because sometimes the morning of, more properties would come onto the roster, and then you'd have somebody maybe out driving, and you're trying to buy them.
And then opening bid versus starting bid, same thing? Or
Um,
is it like, what's the, do you
Look at her
see-
trying to bring us back to the
They-
auction
they
thing.
have-
I'm like, I'm so fascinated by the auction. I mean, right? It's just such a, it's not, you say it's easy. It's not easy for
Well,
people, you know?
It's
what
not,
I mean by
no.
it's easy is I mean
It's
that
a-
versus building a sales team and marketing platform, building out our CRM and spending a ton of, she lost her whole,
Doing this
You
all
know what?
wrong.
Brandon's gonna get back and V's gonna be like, sorry, she's left. She's like signature. She is now gonna start wholesaling with PC.
So
Why not?
versus building that whole business,
Yeah.
it's easier to just, maybe find investors, or if you have some
Right.
money, just go down the auction and buy the right properties.
Yeah.
It's just like they're completely different businesses.
Right.
So
Yeah.
this takes a lot of time and effort to build and nurture and cultivate, and money and risk for the marketing dollars. And the other one's like you just go to your bank and pull out a check and go down there and buy.
So do you do this for agents and for, I mean, what's your, like,
He's doing it for himself and he has clients, right?
Right.
No, I just
So,
do. You mean
yeah.
what? But-
Like, so like real estate agents that don't want to get into this game, could
Yeah.
they call you and like, I mean, how would that
Like, I
work?
want to
Yeah.
renovate some shit.
Yeah.
I would.
Yeah, like,
I
how
am
does that
after my
work?
renovation. I'm
Yeah.
super stoked.
You're dialed
I'm
in,
like,
got it down, yeah, I
yeah.
could do this, I
I've done
could
my
do-
backyard. I've done the inside of my
Really?
house. Like, I'm ready. I'm like, I want to do another project, and
Oh
I've
my
been
gosh.
looking, but it doesn't make
Wow.
sense. I don't want to flip them. Like, I want to hold it. I want to hold. I just
Yeah.
want to.
You're going to be the
I'm also a
emotional
property
side of it.
manager, right?
Yeah.
So
Oh,
no,
so,
I'm a
yeah.
property manager.
You're
So
a
I would.
long-term
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
I would hold for long term and make a little bit more money because I'm not afraid of tenants.
Right.
Yeah.
They're afraid of me. So, right, I would
So
love
she's
to
a
do
buy
something
and
like that.
hold, and
Yeah.
that look is different, right? I mean, that, right? Is that a?
Well, I'm sure the
yeah,
economics
absolutely.
is different,
Yeah.
right?
Well, you can
Those-
that's the other thing. If you go on an auction, everybody knows if somebody's down there. Like there's certain people that are buying as rentals. It's like you can't compete as a flipper because
Really?
you can pay 140
Yeah.
for it. They're happy paying 175. They gotta if it's
Right.
worth 200.
Because you're looking for an 8%. I'm just looking for
cash flow. That makes
cash
sense, yeah.
flow on a monthly basis,
Makes
so I
sense.
can,
Yeah.
what is it, sleep money?
Makes sense.
Right,
Yeah.
and not to mention that over 30 years or whatever, you're gonna hold these properties. Let's just say
Yeah.
hypothetically till they're paid off. Like what difference does it make whether you paid 140 or 162? It's like
Right.
no difference. Your
Right.
payment changes like $80.
As long as someone else is paying my mortgage, I've got
It's all
a property
good.
that I can give to my kids when,
Exactly.
when I die. If I
Yeah.
die, I will die, but we're all gonna die. You're gonna die, and you're gonna die. and
Hopefully
We're all
not
gonna die.
soon.
All right, so
So morbid. I'm Asta. I
Sorry.
said Masta.
you said Masta,
I said Masta.
Mastabeta.
No, Masta, not Masta.
That's what you call him?
No, no,
It's
no.
all right.
Masta. He's
Um,
the Masta.
I did have a really important question, and I can't remember it, but it's like I know I'm going to ask it, and at some point it'll probably
Auction
be
or
after.
property
No,
related,
it was on
do I do
flipping
that for
properties
other
on wholesale.
people?
I know you do. You said you did.
No, I
right?
don't.
that-
I don't.
well,
Oh, it's
talk
just
about
you now?
yesterday.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't work. The last 2 years or so, I've only bought properties with my own money. I mean,
You're so selfish.
I know I am. I don't have a lot of customer service. I'm not the
I
best
hate
communicator.
people.
I love people, but I just
so
like to do what I want to do, and I don't want to have to like report back or
Yeah.
I'm not the best communicator because I'll forget to say things to people.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I can't, like, if
Talk
I
to
have
them about
tons
yesterday,
of people's money.
your property.
Which
Property
one?
Brothers, yeah.
Oh yeah, my flippin' Red Rock. The one of the producers of Property Brothers had texted me and emailed me, and I read it, and I'm like, this is like.
There's the
yeah.
communication.
Yeah, I didn't. I kind of like brushed it off, and then she called or texted me again, and I was like, okay, maybe this is. I thought it was like a spam thing, so I was like, I just disregarded it because I'll get like messages on Instagram. They're like, I'm a producer. I want to film your properties. I'm like, I just don't, whatever. So I just moved on, and then she was pretty persistent. So then they said they wanted to come towards the end of this month, and then they followed through, and so the Property Brothers filmed at our Red Rock flip yesterday, and then they'll be back again tomorrow to do like close-up shots and stuff.
I was like, yeah, yesterday. I'm like, I DM'd you. I was like, hey, can I come? He's like, shoot, they kicked me out.
Yeah, they did. I was there. They're like, okay, so thank you. If we need anything, we'll let you know. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't.
Didn't even get a cameo, nothing.
No,
Oh, man.
but that was okay. I really didn't want to hang out there all day. I was just there to pick up some stuff, and yeah, and really the reason that they asked is because they had like all these crew members and stuff, and to adhere to, like, they had to pause filming in the past because of Corona stuff, so they're just like,
Oh, yeah,
or
yeah.
COVID stuff.
Yeah.
They're just
Yeah.
the health and safety
But
person.
now
was like,
you
we
could
can't
say
have outside.
250 people, right?
What do you mean?
Can't we have 250 people in it?
Oh, is
Yeah,
that what
you
it is?
can now, yeah.
So now you could have said.
Oh shit!
Right.
I was going to talk about open houses starting it back
Oh,
up, but
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
more interested
Yeah.
in this, so we
Yeah.
can talk about that next
Yeah.
week.
You can
Nobody
just save
cares.
that for next
You can
week,
start
yeah.
open houses again, guys.
Yeah.
There's requirements and protocols and blah blah blah. You can also show tenant occupied properties, protocols, blah blah blah. Okay,
Great.
go back
Done.
to you.
Yeah. Go
Done.
back to you.
So
Now-
what else?
It's all about you.
What do you want to
There's
hear? What do you
so
wanna know?
much. I don't know. There's
I still have a question that I can't remember, but I started saying it before. I
Oh,
did the
talk
whole,
about
like,
even after the property. So say you buy the property down, and then what happens after? Because you don't get the deed right then and there, right?
Oh, at the auctions, yeah.
HOAs. Shit. Okay,
got
I'm
it.
sorry.
Go
I got to
first.
talk about
do,
HOAs.
Well, do HOAs.
We only have like 4.
Do HOAs.
Do
Do-
HOAs. Yeah, talk
yeah.
to me about HOAs for a second, because a
HOAs,
lot of
alright.
people
So-
bought HOAs at the auction, right?
Yeah, and a lot of people made a lot of money, like
Okay.
tens of millions of
So,
dollars doing that.
yeah, what happened with it? I knew it was an important question.
So there was a
Sorry.
Supreme Court. So people, okay. So when we're talking about buying HOA liens at the auction,
Yeah, that was
versus-
back in 2008, right?
right when there was a ton of uncertainty. People didn't really know what was going to happen with the ones they bought. But so you can buy an HOA lien, or you can buy like a first deed of trust, which we'd only ever buy the first deed of trust because we're looking for quick money. We're looking to resell it. But like a lot of long term landlords would buy property, would buy HOA liens that were $8,000. They'd rent the property out, usually recap a lot of their initial investment. Like if they rent it out for $1,200, they get it back fairly quickly. And then what happened was the Supreme Court. So first deed of trust is like when you go get a mortgage on your house, like
Yeah.
through Bank of America, they put a first deed of trust. Those are the types of ones that we were going after, because if a first deed of trust forecloses at auction, then all the other liens get wiped out. You know, the seconds, the thirds, all that stuff gets wiped out, so you get clean title. If you buy an HOA lien, you do not.
You
So
guys weren't even insuring them at a while, right?
Right.
Not
During
in the
that time,
beginning,
I remember,
no.
yeah.
Not in the beginning.
So yeah, and so like all the time, if I would like look for properties every once in a while on like Craigslist or whatever, if I saw a property, the deal is too good to be true, like it's 200,000, or somebody would call me and be like, I have it for 90,000. The first thing I'd say is it's an HOA lien. And
Yeah.
they'd be like, well, yeah, but the title's clear now. I'd be like, no, it's not. But then the Supreme Court ruled to give HOA super priority lien, and they were wiping out basically the banks first. So a lot of people that bought all like the long-term
HOAs,
investors,
yeah.
they bought them for these. Basically, they ended up buying the houses for like 10 grand,
Yeah.
and then they got clean and clear title
Isn't
and
that
resold them for
crazy?
300,000
Yeah.
now.
It's
It's insane.
insane.
So
Yeah.
I had a landlord that I managed 17 properties for him, and it was all HOA liens. But he was trying to work with the banks and say, hey, I'll pay you, this amount. I
Right,
know you
to
were
settle
owed
it,
this,
right.
and just settle it so you wouldn't have to deal with any issues that arose. I think he lost a couple, but he sold quite a few.
If you have like 50 of those, and
Yeah.
you maybe lose on a few of them, but overall,
It's
you're
totally
gonna-
worth it. Like
Absolutely.
he was making like $3,000. I mean, he had properties up in Sun City Anthem. He had, you name it. He was making some decent bank on it.
That was
Right.
an insane time too. The whole
Yeah.
HOA stuff was
Yeah.
insane.
So yeah, so super priority liens or the HOA liens would wipe out the mortgages. But now what's happening is the banks have seen that that's how they ruled. So they're not going to let a $7,000 HOA lien wipe out their $150,000 mortgage. So they'll just
Yeah.
pay off those those liens. And
Yeah.
if you buy an HOA lien at auction, or if you buy if you buy a first deed of trust that has HOA liens on it, they'll still stick with the property when you close on it. So you have to factor in when you're buying to be able to pay off those liens. But the ruling was that, or that they determined that HOAs can only like the maximum they could do is like 9 months of HOA and like $1,500 in fees,
Yeah,
because they capped
max.
it.
So I
because
would,
you-
I was sitting on the board during that time, and we wouldn't even let people, if there was an HOA lien property, you weren't allowed to list it. If it didn't have clear title,
Wow.
you weren't allowed to put it in the MLS at all. So you'd have to find buyers outside of that in order to do it. And I
And
remember
hence
there
you'd
was
end
only
up
a
on
couple of
Craigslist.
places that were doing, on Craigslist. That's still
Where all
a
the
thing.
beautiful things
Where all
are.
the
Yeah.
things happen. It all starts on Craigslist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So they capped it because you'd have like a little Mountain's Edge house would have whatever, a $50 HOA, and the HOA would rack up all these fines for your
Yeah.
weeds and all this stuff, and then it'd be like you'd be buying the first deed of trust, and the HOA would be like, you owe us $17,000 or whatever. And it's
Which
like
is stupid.
it just
Yeah.
got out of
Yeah,
control.
it did.
So then they capped it at 9 months of
Back.
back to HOA,
Yeah.
and then capped the
Yeah.
fees at like 50. So really, like the most it's usually now is like $4,000 to $7,000
Yeah.
if you're buying from auction.
Yeah.
So
So crazy.
I know, right? It's so like I said, it's easy. It's
But
so-
you were,
it's so
and this is
technical.
how this whole
Yeah.
thing started, was
Yeah.
because I asked you, like, is there anything at the auction right now? And are any NODs? Because I get a
It was
list
just
every morning,
HOA
but
right
it was
now.
all HOA
Yeah.
stuff. And
Yep.
so we were,
Right now,
we
yeah.
we started talking about that and was like, oh my God, we need to get somebody on that knows about this shit.
yeah, so the HOA thing is I think it's dried up, but I never went after them in the beginning, unfortunately. But it could have totally backfired too. when you
Yeah.
bought all
Right,
these
it could have.
HOA
Yeah.
liens, and then
Yeah.
you lost all your money.
Absolutely.
So I'd rather just do a ton of volume on something that's predictable. I'd rather hit 1,000 singles than
Yeah.
50 home runs.
So you're not really a gambler, I'm assuming.
Well, I actually don't gamble, no, but yeah, I guess you could say no. I'm
Yeah.
not really a gambler. I
Gambles
like
on the
predictable
numbers.
risk.
Gambles
when
on-
I
yeah.
know I'd say I have a higher risk tolerance, but only when I can see the data and it's like a predictable outcome.
Yeah.
Mechanical engineering, remember?
I know,
Yeah.
I know. I get freaked out in stocks and investing in that. when
Yeah,
somebody-
because those
I
can
have-
go to zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have
Real
a
estate will not.
Like my financial advisor's like, well, you should put some money in blah 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 in this stock and this stock, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy real estate. She's like, well, maybe you should. I go, do you know what the hell I do for a living?
Yeah.
Right? And I'm like, you need to stop telling people that, right? If you can find a good deal, why not? And if you're gonna hold it.
Yeah.
And I know we're running out of time. Beta
Sorry,
hasn't given
Beta.
us the indication, but see, I told you
Beta's
we just
already cut us
flow.
off.
Yeah,
he
Beta's
already
like
cut us
done. The
off,
music's
yeah.
playing. Did you start the music?
It's not recording well.
Okay, are you gonna start the music now? I mean, we should wrap this up. It is 10.
Well,
It is
did you want to
10:30.
give him an outro?
Oh wait,
or
hold
else?
on, don't
But,
do that yet.
What about how
Wait.
they can contact us?
Oh yeah.
sorry.
Well, he doesn't sell for anybody else or buy
Well,
for
but-
anybody else.
Well,
He
no,
said-
I get, but
No.
a lot of agents bring us
Yeah.
deals all the time.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
shit.
Yeah, referrals. Yeah. Oh, shit. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, so tell us about that really quick. Hey, don't play music yet. Hang tight.
Hold on.
Don't
hang
just
tight
hold
music.
on, hold on,
Hang
hold on
tight.
until Casey's done. Sorry.
Yeah, so
Tell
I'm
us-
Casey Ryan. If you want, you can look me up on social media, or just you could reach out to me. You can text or call me. My number is 702-824-7270. So if you have any properties, even if it's a one that you're going to list, a lot of times sellers will always say like, I want a cash offer too. I'll pay your commission even if the seller's not willing to.
Cool.
We'll just build it into our offer. Just make sure the seller knows too. But
Yeah.
a lot of times it's good to be able to go to a listing prepared, say like, this is all these scenarios. I also can connect you with an investor that can give you a cash offer.
He's your iBuyer.
Yeah, exactly.
I like
And we
it.
get really cheap money, so we're
And
we're
he's
able
local.
to be, yeah. And we'll be fast. Like if you text me or anybody
Support
texts
local.
me,
To support local. Yeah, there you go.
support
Okay.
local.
yeah. If anybody texts me an address, I can get you an offer in like 15 minutes. So
Wow.
And I can attest, like, he
Without even
is the
seeing it.
real deal. Like, there's no, we see
Okay.
his transactions, and he's amazing.
I
So,
like it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like it. All right, cool. Well, so what's your handle?
KCP.Ryan
KCP.Ryan.
on Instagram.
On Insta. Okay.
Yeah, or just search me on Facebook, Casey Ryan.
All of those things. All right,
All
you
of
can
those.
start the music now.
Cue the music.
Cue the music so we can
Thanks,
wrap
Beta.
up. So don't forget, you can see us facebook.com/realestatex. Thank you so much, Casey. Thank you, Val, for being our co-host today
I
and
just
for
brought- I
subbing
just
in.
brought the-
You did
yeah,
great.
just-
You did
thank
amazing.
you.
You are welcome
Thank
back
you.
anytime
Okay,
you
awesome.
want.
Just let me know.
I've
Calendar
officially
me.
fired Brandon and Shelly. You're in. Just kidding, guys. And then you can find us on all places where podcasts are available. Thanks so much, guys. Bye.